Welcome back, everybody, to another edition of the Turnpike Sports Pro Football Show presented by Caesars Sportsbook. Caesars is with us all season long. Caesars is also the home of Caesars Rewards. Make sure you sign up with Caesars Sportsbook. If you're watching on TV, the offer is on the screen, but if you are listening to us, Caesars.com/sportsbook-n-casino. Use our code PIKE1000. You get a special sign-up offer. Terms and conditions apply. 21 and older. Problem gambling. 800-GAMBLER. Like I said, Caesars Sportsbook, home of Caesars Rewards. You can use your Caesars Rewards card when you link it into the actual online casino and online sportsbook. You can actually get tier rewards points when you use the online casino and the online sportsbook, and you can use the Caesars Rewards points at a lot of different places, a lot of different properties.
And one more extra property.
One brand new.
One brand new. Congratulations, Caesar, New Orleans.
Yes.
One of my favorite cities in the whole wide world.
Well, you know, it used to be Harrah's New Orleans, and they've just completed a $400 million transformation. They don't even call these renovations anymore. They call them transformations.
Transformations?
From
really? Okay.
Harrah's New Orleans to Caesars New Orleans. And, you know, what they're doing, there's 2 towers worth of hotel rooms. You've got 800 hotel rooms being offered now because of the new property. 150,000 square feet of gaming and dining space that was just upgraded. They've got 1,300 slot machines, 120 table games. Yes, I am reading the press release as I'm talking to everybody out there. 20-table World Series of Poker room.
Wow, nice.
Yeah, you don't see that too often anymore.
I got to tell you, that's where I'm going to stay next time I go to New Orleans. Last time I stayed in New Orleans, I stayed in a hotel in the French Quarter, which a lot of fun, but real noisy. If you're trying to get any bit of sleep, I know when you go to New Orleans, it's a party town. It's 24/7, but you know sometimes you got to get a little sleep. But no, it was a lot of fun, a lot of noise. But next time I'm going to stay at the Caesars New Orleans.
Caesars New Orleans, and also a 5,700 square foot sports book.
See, look at that. Perfect.
Yes.
A poker room and a sports book. Boom. I'm there.
And you mentioned the party. They had a huge party as the grand opening. They had ribbon cutting. They had a float with Caesar himself on it, welcoming everybody to the new Caesars New Orleans. They had
floats mean something.
Food experience going on, all that stuff.
Well, floats mean something down New Orleans, especially during Mardi Gras. They have all the floats going on.
They had a Mardi Gras style float with Caesars on it.
There you go. So, great. Yep. Congratulations, Caesars.
Yep, brand new property. And like I said, when you use Caesars Sportsbook, tie in your Caesars Rewards cards, get the tier points. And when you go to any Caesars property, make sure you use those and rack up those points there, too.
Absolutely.
Now, here we are. We're on the NFL show. We were presented by Caesars Sportsbook. And like I said, Caesars is with us from the regular season through the playoffs, all the way to the big game, which, by the way, is in New Orleans.
Absolutely.
And Caesars New Orleans, perfect time to have a brand new casino.
Perfect.
But here we are. We're in week 9. And what we usually do here in our first half of the show is look back at week 8.
Well, let me tell you something. You talked about transforming. I think I transformed my record against you to, I would guess, losing. I'm not sure. Am I a losing record, or am I 500 now? Or I don't know if you computed that one yet, but I got to tell you, it was heartbreaking. Well, the one game I had for the show, I thought I was going to win until 2 seconds, the end of the 2 seconds of the game when Washington threw that Hail Mary. It was just absolutely incredible. Great game. Congratulations to Washington. It sucks for me, but you know, I thought I had it, man. Well, I thought I had Chicago.
Funny you should mention. Now, you know, every week I go through a rundown of different statistics and facts that have happened in the previous week. I have one for that game.
Oh, okay. Great.
Let me just go right into it. Then.
Well, let me just say, it was an incredibly weird week. I did not expect the Jets to lose. I did not. I did not expect Baltimore to lose.
I expected the Jets to lose.
What was going on? Okay, well, but you have some facts that
I've got week 8
Is it going to make the week more palatable to me? But well, yeah, it'll make it a little more interesting, but it still was heartbreaking.
Now, I have been starting with Thursday night games, but since you brought up the Bears-Commanders game, I'll start with that one.
Something weird happened there.
It actually is the Hail Mary.
Oh, it is the Hail Mary.
It is the Hail Mary.
Oh, okay. There's something special about the number 1 draft pick and the number 2 draft pick playing together. I thought that would be one of your big facts for the week.
The 52-yard Hail Mary was the second longest game-winning touchdown pass as time expired by a rookie.
Oh, okay.
in NFL history.
All right.
The longest was a 56-yard touchdown pass from Tim Couch
Okay. Wow.
to Kevin Johnson.
All right. I guess
And
that
you
was
can tell
Cleveland.
that's
Yeah.
Halloween 1999.
Wow. Okay.
Almost a year, almost an anniversary of sorts.
Kevin Johnson, did he go to high school somewhere around here in New Jersey?
Yeah, he has
I
that
think
Team
Hamilton.
88 system.
Yeah, Hamilton High West, I think. All right.
But I'll go through
Blast
some
from the past there.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll go through some of these real quickly. We have Thursday night. Vikings receiver Justin Jefferson passed wide receiver Jake Reed for the 5th most receiving yards in Vikings history.
Wow. Okay.
Trails only: Adam Thielen, Anthony Carter, Randy Moss, and Chris Carter. Justin Jefferson has about 6,500 career passing yards, 6,545 to be exact. I don't know about catching Chris Carter, 12,383 yards.
The two receivers I remember most, well, Chris Carter actually played for the Eagles at one point. Then he went to the Vikings and did very good. I also remember Ahmad Rashad.
Yes.
He was a great player and a great broadcaster, too.
Moving right along, we have Detroit Lions wide receiver Amon-Ra St. Brown, first Lions player with a receiving touchdown in 5 consecutive games since Calvin Johnson in 2011.
Wow.
Green Bay Packers defensive back Xavier McKinney recorded his career-high 6 interceptions this past Sunday, joining Trayvon Diggs as the only players in the last 20 seasons to have 6 games with an interceptions in the team's first 8 games of a season.
Wow. Okay.
Also, McKinney's also the first player in Packers history to do it as well. Here's one near and dear to my heart. New England Patriots quarterback Jacoby Brissett. First Patriots quarterback to lead a game-winning drive in relief since 1993.
Wow. Okay. 1993. Was that Bledsoe?
Scott Sekulies. Or Schwades, depending on who you
Sekulies,
talk to.
I remember him.
I remember everyone saying
oh my
Schwades,
God.
Sekulies.
Well, that
Yes.
was a time when it was, I guess,
Revolving quarterbacks.
Yeah, I guess it was Bledsoe the next
Yeah.
year or something
But
like that.
it was
or-
New England over the
odd.
Cardinals.
All right.
Moving over to the West Coast, we have Los Angeles Chargers quarterback Justin Herbert. He finished without interception in Sunday's win. His streak of interception-free football games has extended to 5 straight games, longest active streak in the NFL.
Wow.
Something to keep in mind when you're betting on that game in terms of is there going to be an interception by...
Ooh,
He's almost
I
done.
gotta look at that one. That's an interesting
Yes.
one. I wonder what the odds are going to be for that one. I mean, there's that philosophy for bettors. Hey, he's due for one. He can't keep this up all the
Exactly.
time. So I
Exactly.
gotta take a close look at that.
We're going to end up with San Francisco, but it ties into what the NFL called National Tight Ends Day.
Yeah.
Tight end George Kittle, Niners tight end, season high 128 receiving yards. He became the 5th 49er player with 500 receptions.
Wow. Okay.
I thought there'd be more, but there really weren't. It wasn't really that big of a,
Interesting.
Jerry Rice and all those guys. But
Dwight Clark, Jerry
Yep.
Rice, Dwight Clark. Early on,
I don't know about John Taylor.
I don't know. Russ Francis played with the 49ers for a couple seasons. John Taylor, of course. I don't. Boy, who knows?
But finishing up with this National Tight Ends Day, everything's got a day nowadays.
Yeah, I know.
National Tight Ends Day had a record. The most number of receptions in NFL history on a single day by position.
Wow. Okay. Well,
Yeah.
I would believe it. I was watching the Eagles and the Bengals, and my God, there was a big day for tight ends
Yep.
in that game. So
177 receptions by all tight ends on the day, most in NFL history on tight end day, in a single day, I mean. 1,965 receiving yards, second most, and 16 touchdowns, 8th most all time in a single day.
It was incredible.
So some really interesting stats that came out of Week 8 there.
Very interesting. It doesn't make my
No.
1 and 2 record betting for the show
Well, now
was any easier to take. But
Since you brought that
yes,
up.
thank you for making it a little more interesting.
Well, since you
was
brought
heartbreaking.
that up,
Yeah.
we're season long right now. We're playing against each other as
Yeah,
we do this.
yeah.
You went 1-2 last week. I went 2-1. You are now back to 500 at 12-12. I am
wasn't
at
sure.
15-9.
So I'm at 500. Okay,
Yes. You're
All right.
you're not losing yet.
What
So,
are you again?
15-9.
15-9. Okay. I gotta make some
Yes.
big moves. All right.
But here we are. Turnpike Sports Pro Football Show. Why did I go through those records? Because we play against each other each and every week on the Pro Football Show presented by Caesars Sportsbook. And here are the rules before we go to break. For our pick segment coming up, we use Caesar Sports midweek lines, so please check the lines before you place your bets after watching the show. It's midweek. We do point spreads and totals. We do not do money lines.
Okay.
We do 3 games each, and we try and get the best record out of those 3 games, and we play against each other, and we keep an eye on our overall. I keep an eye on the overall records. You just forget about it.
I didn't even want to hear about it this week. Oh, my God. Thank God for the Eagles. That's the only game I won this week.
But we are now done with Week 8 of the NFL regular season. It's flying right by. We're going to be talking picks from Week 9 when we come back on the Turnpike Sports Pro Football Show presented by Caesars Sportsbook.
With costs going up, Adam and Eve is the best deal around. With 50% off a sexy adult product at adamandeve.com. That's 50% off right now when you point the camera on your smartphone at the code on the screen. Don't get up. Just open your camera and point it at the screen. Hurry! You'll also get 10 free gifts, including free discreet shipping at checkout. This is your chance to get more for less. So scan now for 50% off plus 10 free gifts from adamandeve.com.
Welcome back to the Turnpike Sports Pro Football Show presented by Caesars Sportsbook. Caesars.com/sportsbook-n-casino. I always stumble on that, but that's the website for Caesars Sportsbook. If you sign up with Caesars Sportsbook using promo code PIKE1000, you get a special sign-up offer. It's basically if your first cash bet loses, you will get it back in bonus bets. Terms and conditions apply. 21 and older, problem gambling, 1-800-GAMBLER. Now, Caesars is going to be riding with us all season long. We've got them through the regular season, the playoffs, and the big games. So please take advantage of Caesars Sportsbooks, and also please hook in your Caesars Rewards card into the Sportsbook as well, and also the online casino.
Absolutely.
Here we are in our pick segment of the show, and I'll go through the rules again. I did it before the commercial break. I'm going to do it again here. We do 3 games each. We play against each other, 3 games each. We do point spreads or totals. We don't do money lines. We use Caesars Sportsbook's midweek lines, so please check the lines before you place your bet after hearing the show. But again, always check your lines before you place any bets, and also bet responsibly. Bet with your head, not with your heart. Here we are. Getting into Week 9, here are 3 games, and we do have 1 game in common. Like we always tell, a bit of transparency before the pick segment. We do discuss what games we have for formatting sake. We don't talk about what our picks are.
Yeah. So we do our bets alone separately.
Yes.
We don't coordinate with one another.
No.
But before we start taping, we ask, do we have any games in common so we can do the lineup?
Yes.
Like the first one we have in common, I don't know what you bet or what you did with this game, but we make it first.
Right.
So we get it out of the way.
Exactly. And with that being said, let's head on over to game number 1. First game of the week, and as Dave said, we have this game in common. It's Washington Commanders favored by 3.5, traveling to the MetLife Stadium, play the New York Giants. Over under is 43.5 at taping time. Wow, what can you say about Washington, what they did last week?
First off, I am now a believer in the Washington Commanders. Not because they beat my Chicago Bears, the pick I had last week, but they're playing with confidence. They actually look like they're having fun out there. The Giants don't look like they're having fun. Their fans aren't having fun. It's just a mess of a season for the Giants.
And also, they have Washington has a quarterback that is a rookie, but not playing like a rookie, which is very good to see. Yeah. They may have found their franchise quarterback there.
Absolutely. Every week he plays with confidence. Look, let's be honest.
Okay, they had a little luck.
Okay, little luck last week. Boy, in 2 seconds, I thought I had that game, and the final 2 seconds, it just blew up in my face.
Yes. But here we are. We've got Washington traveling to play the New York Giants. MetLife Stadium. We've got... I didn't know this. Washington was favored only 1 time by 3.5 points this season, and they actually won that game.
Yeah.
As an away team, they have 2 wins against the spread. They're 2-2 overall against the spread this season. And then they're coming in playing a Giants game. And now this is kind of a short analysis because there's not much you can say about New York the way they're playing right now.
Oh, I got a lot to say about New York.
Well,
all of it bad.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
All of it bad, especially when they're playing on the East Coast.
Yes.
So I'm just I'll leave that little tease for when I do my little analysis here.
Well, New York comes into the game as underdogs. They've come in, they have come into the games 8 times this season. I think they've been underdogs in every game, if I remember correctly.
I'm a little surprised that Washington is only 3.5 points favored. That's just my thinking.
Well, the Giants won twice in those underdog 8 games. Mm-hmm. But if you look at their last couple of home games, they've only scored a total of 10 points, 7 and 3 in the 2 previous home games at MetLife there. New York is 0-4 all season long at home, and they're 1-3 against the spread at MetLife Stadium. It's not really a comforting factor to have play in a stadium where you're not winning. I mean, but the total of 10 points really, really bothered me here. And just the fact that they should be playing slightly better, but I don't see them having really too many weapons to deal with. Washington's coming in. They just had that really great win against Chicago. I think they're getting the lucky bounces this year, as well as playing extremely well. They may be this year Houston
good teams
Texans.
Get the lucky bounces. Yeah. So you got to be a good team first to get those lucky bounces.
But with that being said, and again, the New York's not playing extremely well. I don't know if Dable's going to last the season, to be honest with you, the way they're playing. But right now, I'm going to go with Washington and laying the 3.5.
Well, I'm doing the same thing. Washington minus 3.5. Here, you want to hear about the Giants? Not only have the Giants lost each of their last 5 games played on the East Coast, they have failed to cover the spread in 4 of the Sunday games they played on the East Coast. How about that? Get away from the East Coast.
Yeah,
you might want to move away from the East Coast.
They may want to be the Los Angeles Giants.
And you want to hear something about the Commanders? The Commanders have covered the spread in each of their last 6 games against a team that have a losing record.
Yep.
Guess what, Giants? You got a losing record. So, I agree with you. I think the Commanders will win by at least a touchdown against the G-Men.
All right, let's head on over to the second game of the week. Game number 2 for me, the Los Angeles Chargers favored by 2 points, 2 even points, traveling to Cleveland to play the Browns, over under a 42.5.
I was looking at this game.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure about it because Cleveland is a mystery to me. They beat Baltimore last week. They look like a semi-competent team with Winston behind the center. So I don't know. Wasn't sure about this game, so I didn't pull the trigger. So I'm curious to listen to what you said.
You brought up Jameis Winston. Jameis Winston, the backup Browns quarterback, came in, hadn't played for 2 years, lit up the Ravens. He threw for over 300 yards, 3 touchdowns. I couldn't believe that was his first start in 2 years. But then again, he really is a backup quarterback, and
maybe
Cleveland's a mess right now.
Sometimes there's always a theory that the other team doesn't have a lot of tape.
Yeah,
but
not with Jameis Winston.
But but he was a new commodity to them.
Yeah.
They probably didn't practice. They did practice.
Yeah, they practiced,
but they didn't have a lot of tape on him, so you didn't know quite what you're expecting from Jameis Winston.
Well, again,
but
I wouldn't have expected 303 touchdowns either. So, I mean, from Jameis Winston, 300 yards, 3 touchdowns. But you have Cleveland going into a game against the Los Angeles Chargers.
Kind of an unknown.
They've lost 6 straight against AFC West opponents, the Cleveland Browns. They've lost 4 straight against the Los Angeles Chargers. Kind of interesting. They're 1-3 against the spread against the Chargers as well in those games. Chargers defense comes in, one of the best in the NFL. They're only allowing 13 points a game. Cleveland's played 5 games this season with the spread under 6 points and has gone 1-4 against the spread in those 5 games. One stat, though, bothers me in this entire thing, which kind of twisted my thinking in all this. The Browns did score 29 points against a much better Ravens team last week. Chargers haven't scored more than 26 points at all this season in any game. I'm thinking, maybe I'm going to ride the Jameis wave a little bit longer here. I'm going Cleveland +2.
Wow. Okay. I see. I would have taken it the other way. I would have gone with the Chargers. They saw Jameis Winston last week.
Yep.
They can see how he moves now because there was a 2-year absence. And
I'm doing the Jameis wave.
But ride the Brown wave.
Yes.
Huh? Well, my next game is the Indianapolis Colts versus the Minnesota Vikings, who are favored by 5, and I have a total of 46.5 points. When your quarterback leaves the game for exhaustion, you know your team is in trouble, and that's where the Indianapolis Colts find themselves. Look, on the other side, you have to love the way the Minnesota Vikings have been playing this year. The Vikings have won 10 of their last 11 November home games against any AFC opponents, and I think they're going to win another one this week. And if you want another stat about Vikings playing in November, because this is their kind of time of year, you always love the Vikings in the wintertime. They have covered the spread in each of their last 5 November games against AFC teams. Meanwhile, the Colts have failed to cover in their last 4 games as underdogs against NFC opponents. So I think the Vikings are just too talented for the Colts. There's a quarterback question now with the Indianapolis Colts, so I don't know what the hell's going on with them. But I'm taking the Minnesota Vikings.
All right, let's head on over to the last game of the week. Final game for me, the Las Vegas Raiders playing at the Cincinnati Bengals. The Bengals are favored by 7 right now. The over-under is 46.5. Now, when I started looking at this game, it was actually a 7.5 point spread and 47 points even. So it's starting to tick down a little bit. So keep an eye on both the point spread and the totals before you pull a trigger on this game here. So, but it's starting to shift a little bit away from what it opened up. The opening line's going down. Las Vegas, wow, what can you say about this team? Las Vegas comes into the game having dropped 4 games in a row. They lead the NFL in turnovers. They have no one to throw the ball to on the offensive side of the game. They have the worst running attack in the NFL. I think it's under 2.5 points, 2.5 yards per rush. Mm-hmm. It's one of the worst ones out there. But you've got Cincinnati coming here into this game. They just lost big time against the Eagles. I was kind of surprised that they played that poorly against the Eagles.
They were favored against the Eagles,
That's
too,
what I'm saying.
So that was a little shocking. By the way, that was the only game I won last week. I went with the Eagles.
But Cincinnati right now is 5-1 in the last 6 games against the Las Vegas Raiders. And with the Raiders giving up 210 points total this season, they're just a sieve back there. They're just allowing everybody to run up and down, score on them. I'm really having a hard time seeing the Raiders keep up with Cincinnati. Yes, I know the Eagles did beat them last week, beat them handily, but the Raiders are no Eagles. I can't believe I just said that. But I just can't see Las Vegas keeping up with the Cincinnati offense, especially with the way that defense gives up points as well as yards and everything else. So I'm doing Cincinnati and laying the 7.
Okay, my game 3 is the Detroit Lions, who are favored by 3.5 points, versus the Green Bay Packers with a total of 48.5 points. Detroit quarterback Jared Goff has impressed me all season long, and he's got to be at the top of the list of any list that you are compiling for league MVP. But, I'm getting a little ahead of myself. He's got to go ahead and win this week, which I think is going to be a very entertaining game against the Packers. The Packers come into this game on a 4-game winning streak and have played well all season, but I think this is the week when this winning streak comes to an end. I found a stat on winning streaks. Detroit has won each of their last 10 games against NFC opponents on a winning streak. Huh? How about that one? That's a nice one.
That's a weird one.
Yeah. And have covered the point spread in each of their last 6 road games. On the other hand, Green Bay has failed to cover the spread in 4 of their last 5 November home games against NFC North opponents. I think this one's going to follow the trend, and I love the way Detroit has been playing. I should have bet on them last week, but I didn't, because they're just playing lights out right now.
I took care of it. I did it.
Yeah, you bet on. You won it, but I'm not making that mistake 2 weeks in a row. I think the Lions will win by at least a touchdown, so I'm taking the Detroit Lions and laying the points against the Green Bay Packers.
All right, those are our 3 games of the week. We'll be right back to recap and end the show. Turnpike Sports Pro Football Show presented by Caesars Sportsbook. Be right back after this.
If you don't have final expense life insurance, this message is for you. LifeCare provides valuable information about whole life insurance to help cover final expenses, medical bills, burial costs, and other final expenses. A final expense life insurance policy is fast and available to anyone between the ages of 50 and 80. No medical exam, no lengthy questionnaires, and no waiting period. Just answer a few questions and we'll do the rest. With the average funeral costing $9,420 and Social Security only paying $255, you need simple peace of mind for you and your whole family. Don't leave behind unpaid expenses. Your premium will never increase. Your policy will have a cash value and a death benefit that can never decrease. To find out how you can get final expense life insurance with a lifetime lock, call 800-601-9488. That's 800-601-9488.
Sign up at jackpot.com and you can bet on the world's best lotteries where the biggest jackpots are up for grabs. Powerball, Mega Millions, some of the biggest lotteries can be found at jackpot.com. Simply choose your lotto game, pick your numbers, or use their quick pick feature, and you're done. Sign up at jackpot.com with code DRAW24 and get a free lottery ticket with your first deposit. Jackpot.com, it's the world of lotto in your hand. Terms and conditions apply. You must be at least 18 years old and in the United States to play. Void where prohibited. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Welcome back to the Turnpike Sports Pro Football Show presented by Caesars Sportsbook. We just did our picks for the 3 games coming up in Week 9 here. Why don't we do a recap and then we'll get on out of here. Go ahead.
You want me to jump on it? All right, I'm going to take the Washington Commanders and laying the 3.5 points against the New York Giants. I'm taking the Minnesota Vikings and laying the 5 points against the Indianapolis Colts. And I'm taking the red-hot Detroit Lions and laying the 3.5 points against the Green Bay Packers.
Well, I'm taking Washington and laying the 3.5 against New York. I'm going with Cleveland +2 against the Los Angeles Chargers, and I'm also
gutsy bet.
Gutsy. I got the lead. I might as well take a chance now.
You got picks to play with.
Yes. Okay. And then I'm also going to do Cincinnati laying the 7 against Las Vegas. Those are the 3 picks. They'll be in written form on our blog, turnpikesports.us. Click on the blog button. They're going to be up there after the show is released. Feel free to comment there. Feel free to email us, info@turnpikesportsradio.com. Love hearing from everybody out there. And follow us on social media. We've got Instagram, Turnpike Sports Radio, Facebook, Turnpike Sports, and also X, Twitter, whatever that thing is called every so often. They keep changing their names. Turnpike Sports and Turnpike Bets. We have 2 there, so please feel free to follow both of those. Comment anywhere you see us. We love hearing from everybody out there.
And that'll do it for us this week. We'll see you next time on the Turnpike. Good luck, everyone.